Hello, friends and beautiful people. It's Catherine. Today, in my mentorship program, I did an activation called Awakening Gnosis of the monad body. And this is kind of a preamble to what we're going to be focusing on next month in this spiritual metaphysical mentorship that's ongoing through 2022. And this is in line with the kind of tools that I want to share with you that can meet us where we're at in interfacing with these fresh challenges of grounding and anchoring and centering into new earth. We need new tools to be in alignment with a new earth. I feel very, very staunchly dedicated to creating that for people, and this is one of those tools. It's an activation that I created and brought through so that it can be used to help us teach the nervous system how to hold more light. So this is really important. A lot of us are really feeling the ebb and the flow in big crests and hollows. Like the ebb and flow is, we're riding such a massive crest some days and then such a low ebb tide other days. And this is taking a toll on the nervous system. So the important distinction here is that we're meant to be here to teach our bodies how to hold this light, because we're meant to move into a light matrix. We take the body with us in this very unique ascension process that is this great earth experiment of human awakening and moving this planet into a higher destiny and frequency. It's not that our bodies are inefficient. It's not that our bodies are, made to be clunky and not be able to work with this energy. On the contrary, we are here as souls embodied in human form at this time to teach the body how to hold this light. And so another important distinction is that we often think, or it's often erroneously taught, that these light codes that are hitting the planet are the reason why the planet and everyone on it and everything on it is going through a stage of ascension that is waking us up to a higher level of consciousness. It's not the light. The light is just the activator. The light is just the catalyst. So when we talk about light codes, we're talking about a photon belt of activity that is like a match that lights a fire. That's the tinder and everything to light that fire is already here. So the light codes don't hold the information. They are the catalyst. They do hold information, but they hold information about how to catalyze. The light codes are already in you. They are in your DNA. They are dormant codes ready to wake up. So the light wakes it up. The information's not in the light. And I think that this is something that's not properly understood or addressed in the spiritual community and when we're talking about awakening. So when these catalysts, in other words, these light codes, hit the body, if the body has its own frequency fence of a nervous system that's trying to protect itself, of certain beliefs that align with paradigms and old structures and systems that don't really hold up their end as part of this new earth anymore, those can act as frequency fences, keeping these light codes out. So we don't have the proper catalyst, we don't have the proper torch or the match or the flame to ignite and awaken these dormant codes that lie in our own DNA. These codes also are in the DNA of the planet. So when the light codes are hitting Mother Earth, they are activating codes that are already here, that are already in the heart of creation of this planet. So this is a really important distinction. And when you think of the nervous system as a frequency fence, it is by design that we not be able to take on too much light at once, because it would literally make us implode. It's a lot to take. So there are different kinds of frequency fences. There are frequency fences that keep us in density on this planet and were put in place by the powers who should not be. But there are also frequency fences that we as oversouls, if you want to think of it that way, created so that we don't go into crisis. Because when we take on too much light too quickly, we can go into crisis. So this is all what I've discussed today in the Tao of the Divine Disruptor Mentorship, along with doing this activation and teaching you how to do this. So what's amazing about this activation is that, you know, we feel triggered a lot lately. Let's just face it. We've got solar flares, we've got ascension symptoms, we are triggered by our nervous system, we're triggered by anxiety, we are triggered by the events happening in the world. There are so many things that are taking our nervous system on a journey of unwelcome contrast, going back and forth between these very, very profound ebbs and flows. So this is leaving us with a feeling of like burning the candle at both ends, and leaving us feeling like we are burnt out, that we don't have the energy to do the things that we want to do in our lives. We're focused on all the obstacles, all the things that are in the way of our awakening, rather than the outcome that we are all collectively and personally striving for. So when I shared this activation today in my mentorship group, it was like feeling the levity come up that's naturally there, that's naturally inherent. You know, this kind of ebullient nature that we all really have when we can tap into it and move our energy and attention and focus beyond the obstacles or beyond a problem-based state of being, which, let's face it, most humans, most of the time, are in a problem-based frame of mind and sensibility. So I could feel the levity of the group just rise. I could feel like just this more buoyant nature. And so what's brilliant about this activation is that it can be used for anything that's triggering you, honestly. If you're not sleeping well, if you're going through a major life transition, who isn't, right? You're trying to create a new, more wholesome way of being. You're trying to make major improvements in your life. You're going through some sort of profound shift. The way that you're thinking or have thought about the earth is changing. The way you used to think about reality is changing. All these things can cause the nervous system to want to go into hyperdrive and want to protect itself. It's a natural, instinctual response that we have. But you can take it easier on the nervous system, take it easier on your body. And when you do that, when you teach the body how to hold these energetic inconveniences with a lot more integrity, what you're doing is calming and soothing the nervous system, but you're also making your human body in its density available to hold more light and to awaken more of the light codes that are in the DNA. So I know that there's some of you out there, more than a handful of you, who have been kind of looking at my spiritual mentorship, who have been thinking about it, maybe on the fence about it, thinking, oh wow, this sounds good. If you are really serious about getting into this mentorship, I want to share today's class with you, because I want you to have a taste of the kind of tools that I share in here, and the more that are coming. Next month, we are completely focused on the body. We are focused on the fascia, the connective tissue, and the connective network of the body, which is an ascension frequency fence of its own. We're going to be focusing on the nervous system, how to teach the nervous system how to hold more light so you can be more comfortable in your body. We're going to talk about the DNA and awakening codes in the DNA that are already inherent, already written in your code and ready to awaken and be enlightened and enlivened. That's June. July, we are focusing on enhancing your intuitive acuity, so helping you be more of your intuitive self, also inherent within you. August, we are focusing on the channeling of benevolent energies, which is really important because we want to make sure we are protecting ourselves and channeling only and ever benevolent energies. And there's so much more to come, because this container of transformation, you could actually think of it as one giant light body activation that takes us through the end of 2022 together. So if this really lights you up, if this perks up your ears, DM me and I will send you the video of today's class for free if you are really serious about getting in this mentorship. Maybe you've been on the fence. And also, it's just an incredible, incredible activation and talk that brings and sheds new light on some things that you may have been thinking about the ascension process that aren't actually the full story or aren't actually true. So if this lights you up and you're interested, just DM me or reply here and I will send you that. But this is really only for, this is not for looky-loos or dabblers. This is if you are really serious about getting in this mentorship and you really want a taste of what's in there so you can see what you can expect. This is a great video, will help represent that for you. So lots of love and peace. Bye-bye.